In 2016 began the SJW culture war of the internet. There were many YouTubers who developed sizable followings off of this, me included. But where are they all now? And how have they changed now that this phase is over? Let's talk about it. Before I get started, I want to make this extremely clear. Boys, I'm sorry, but I did not make this video for you. I made this video for me, so if it seems like I'm rambling a bit in some of these excerpts, that's why. Also, this is not a call-out video or a roast or any of that nonsense. If anything, this is more close to a case study, self-diagnosis thing. You'll see. In about 2016, the epic culture war of the internet began, where politics and nerdy stuff was unfortunately attempting to converge. It was a long and grueling duel of weaponized identity politics, but the dust has long since settled between the woke brigade and the anti-SJW crowd. And by the end of it all, we all got some ironic laughter from both sides of this stupid, pointless media cyber war. Weird introvert girls in candy-colored hair screaming at the top of their lungs about nothing important, and equally douchey guys feigning intellectual superiority screaming about fucking pronouns! I'd have to say it was all over by 2023, with only a small handful of weirdos keeping the dimly lit fire alive by then. As of now, in the year 2025, the whole woke media phase is long gone, and the dust has long since settled. Now, woke just seems to be yet another brain rot label being weaponized by a small leftover handful of fearmongers on YouTube who haven't gotten the memo that that phase of the internet is long since departed. Or maybe they do know that this phase is departed and they just cling on to the old fad because they have no other directions to go with their standing on YouTube. So as for all the channels that reveled in anti-SJW content, where are they all now? What are they doing with their channels now in this day and age if they're even doing anything? In this video, we're gonna find out, discussing 3 or 4 channels. You're probably wondering, Jack, why do you care even? Well, the reason why is because, okay, you guys know how I myself was a part of this weird culture war with my old videos to begin with, like High Guardian Spice and Velma and all that good stuff? Yeah, well, what's funny is that I didn't even know I was a part of it all until that phase was basically entirely over. And after everything, I just wanted to look at what I missed and a few other folks who were within this culture war are doing now today. Let's start off with a YouTuber that's got a history so complicated that I can't even dig up all of it since he's actually wiped out a lot of his videos discussing this. The Armored Skeptic. The Armored Skeptic is a YouTube channel that has been making videos since 2014, but without any touching on any SJW culture at the start, as it was hardly popular around this year. His primary interest in video topics of the past was free-thinking atheism and discussion on various historical figures. His presence in the anti-woke side of this internet war was something he entirely stumbled onto, in the sense that he kinda just gravitated towards it, while he was doing his own favorite type of content. His videos in question consisted of long-form video essays and responses, well-articulated, well-thought out, and unafraid to publicize his thoughts on both sides of the spectrum, even though he was primarily perceived as an anti-SJW voice. And while I personally find that to be a boon, that was actually his biggest problem that was holding him back, his positioning in these culture wars. Throughout nearly all of his videos, he chose to be, and boldly claimed in most of these videos, that he was a neutral party in between these internet squabbles. Once again, me personally, I think that's a good thing, and I respect this guy for being neutral, as I attempted to do the exact same thing with my inclusivity bias series. But at the time of him making these videos was when these internet squabbles involving the culture war were at their absolute most heated, with nobody being interested in 3-dimensional opinions at all. And thusly, the Skeptic was verbally thrashed for his decision of neutrality, where from most of his fanbase, he was outright perceived as some kind of coward who was too scared to go all in on the air quote right side. I originally had proof of this in the form of leftover videos he had years ago when this happened, and I was going to put said clips and screen caps on display to show this all happening to him, but I cannot now, because he personally deleted nearly all of his anti-SJW type videos, as well as the responses he got from his own fans on top of that in the process. Why did he delete them? Because he genuinely feels bad for being involved in the culture war to begin with. Last year, he made an entire video where he sits down and has a long talk about what he had gone through in the process of all of this.
I really regret my role in the culture war. After a lot of reflection over those events, I realized that I never should have engaged with that discussion at all. But I got out of the culture war and divorced myself from that discussion when I realized that there was no room for nuance in that discussion. And I got out when I realized that my videos were being used to embolden and strengthen positions that I did not agree with.
The Armored Skeptic wanted to be the #1 thing both sides of the SJW wars hated, and that is a 3-dimensional human being. He got millions of views and all the controversy and all the attention and subscribers and all that, but at the end of the day, he just got sick and tired of being a part of it because he couldn't be what he wanted and chose to be. After realizing he was not allowed to have a nuanced opinion, he simply left, cut himself off entirely from this anti-woke phase. As of now, in the year 2025, he's chillin'. Right back to making conspiracy theory and history videos where he's free to speak his mind. They get significantly less views than his old content being focused on now, but that's only because transitioning from anti-SJW culture to historical conspiracy theories is a pretty jarring shift, let's be honest here. But honestly, who cares? As long as he's happy with what he's doing, I don't think the views really matter. The Armored Skeptic's content and backlash back in his heyday is a very good example of what I always disliked. Not about this guy in particular, but instead what I always hated the most about these culture wars as a whole, in terms of hive mind mentality being a problem on both sides of the spectrum. Both sides are equally as toxic, even though the anti-woke side always feigned intellectual and moral superiority. The concept of being anti-woke to me was all about putting a leash on these fools with no self-control, who use their inclusive identity as an excuse to wreak havoc on others' media through glorified propaganda. But then, after a while, the anti-woke brigade began doing the exact same thing, only with extra steps, nitpicking insignificant nonsense that does not matter at all for internet brownie points within their little E-faction.
What's up, everybody? This is the Woke Man here, and today, turns out there's a lot of games that are woke out there, and you've got to be on the lookout. Thankfully, there is a list just for you, so you can keep track of all of that woke nonsense and all of those political agendas being pushed into your games, and you can avoid it, and I'm gonna help you. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, and just so you know, this list is very, very comprehensive. There's a lot of woke stuff out there, a lot of wokeness. As you can clear... There's fucking 1,400 games on here. Bloons Tower Defense 6 is woke now, fellas. It's been compromised. It contains overtly pro-LGBTQ+ messaging. There's a pride flag item available in the trophy store with a pro-pride message. And that's the review. That's their review of the game. They're reviewing games based on wokeness. This amorphous blob of a term now. But
this also feels like the case for long-forgotten commentary YouTuber No BS. No BS is a YouTube channel that began its crusade against forcefully inclusive content in 2015, with his first public YouTube video right off the bat being a statement that feminism is BS.
This is my response to a video called Feminism by Not Just Blonde.
This was kind of spur of the moment, so that's why my hair is... and my face is...
Thanks for verbally lowering our expectations for this video, because we were really thinking it was going to be professional with it being shot in a messy bedroom the size of a closet. But hey, let's not get bogged down by the aesthetics here. Her upcoming arguments make her look bad enough.
After making that video, he pressed on and proceeded to make a mass catalog of quick surface-level glances at various portions of woke culture forcing itself upon the internet. And it was a massive success at the time, due to how easily hateable these folks are. No BS was one of the earliest slob channels to grace YouTube alongside Review Tech USA, providing quick newsflash type videos with surface level glances on how SJW content is polluting precious nerd culture.
I tweeted 2 polls the other week. Do you care about the struggles of men? Out of 7,271 people, 89% said yes.
Apparently a vaguely questioned poll on Twitter is all it takes to prove things to this girl. She asked her 7,000 followers, do you care about the struggles of men? Of course everyone's gonna click yes, but actions speak louder than words. words, and I've never heard of a feminist fighting for men's rights.
He depicted himself and his channel as a hero against a very prevalent and obnoxious internet faction that was rearing their heads into what an otherwise innocent media ecosystem was ingesting, and thusly he was practically idolized for his time in his early years, with every upload he posted granting him tens of thousands of views effortlessly and immense amounts of subscribers on top of that. So, what happened to this guy? As time had continued to pass and he kept making videos, people simply realized No BS was a jerk and had a very sour personality. After a while, most of his videos simply consisted of him not having any argumentative points to provide when he air quote exposed pieces of media for trying too hard to be progressive. A perfect example being when Battlefield 1 was accused of not being historically accurate for featuring women on the front lines, and his response to this knowledge was very, I don't enjoy using this word, but cringe.
This once beloved franchise appears to have finally caved in to progressive politics and SJW agendas, which really shouldn't be that surprising since the game's developer DICE is located in Sweden, or Swedenistan, which is what the local Muslim invaders prefer to call their newfound home. Modern Swedes are beta male cucks, who are so riddled with white guilt and socialist tendencies, basically they're communists, and apparently now they're allowing left-wing politics to take over their country, and their home, and their companies, their businesses, and now their video games.
Hello, old friend.
There's just so many things wrong here, I don't know where to start. First, we got a woman soldier on the front lines in World War II. Needless to say, this is not only historically inaccurate, it's also not very realistic. This woman looks way too overpowered to me. I hate to break it to the SJWs, but girls have smaller frames and muscle structures than men. Sure, girls can fight too. It can happen, but it's not with the sheer brutal strength like the girl in this trailer has. And that's not even mentioning the fake hand. She's an amputee, handless, small-framed girl out and about in a war zone. She wouldn't have lasted 2 hours out there in a real war. You can clearly see the ridiculous SJW agenda here too. DICE is trying to make this trailer and this game all pro-women, pro-equality, and even going so far as to go pro-handicapped people too. You know, I heard another rumor about this game. I hear there's a new healing mechanic for Battlefield 5 as well. In addition to collecting medkits to replenish your health, players also need to collect pads and tampons so your character doesn't have their period all over the battlefield. That's just gross. Don't worry though, there's going to be a small calendar on the bottom of the screen that will help players track their cycles. And you can even check a little meter down there to see how heavy your flow is that day. Welcome to the progressive SJW Battlefield 5, everyone.
I myself remember listening to this video back when I was working at Boston Market in New York City. As soon as I heard him saying all this nonsense, I physically recoiled while I was washing dishes, and I never watched his videos again after that. With every new video he uploaded, his very unpleasant personality was slowly seeping into his content, and you could very clearly tell even from the beginning with his first few uploads. People were not noticing his bad attitude during the beginning of his run since people viewed him as a heroic force against shoehorn politics and nerd culture. But as time passed and then other YouTube channels stepped up to the plate and provided the same content but with more likable personalities behind the mic, he was falling behind as the years continued. His general dislikability all boiled up to a head where he appeared in a live stream to discuss his many videos against other YouTubers.
Guys, no bullshit has chimed in.
Oh, yes.
Well, we have Turkey Tom here on the bench.
Yo, formal invitation, no bullshit.
Yeah,
Please
Tom
come
left.
on. I really want to talk to you, man. I really think you're
Isn't
an
this
enigma.
the same other who
Think you're
makes
an enigma?
Family Guy
Please come
political
on, dude.
commentary videos?
Yes.
Yo, please. No bullshit. I beg of you. You're such a fucking. You're like, my kids are gonna look up to the content you make, dude. Please come on and talk to me.
In this discussion, various YouTubers discussed some of the less valid points he made in regards to one of his many videos. And every single defensive retort he made for himself was not an acknowledgement of his mistakes, but instead a non-stop barrage of the most embarrassingly childish responses possible.
Okay, basically, JXC is some like movie review guy from
Yes.
Britain. He has really messed up teeth, and he does these like anti-CinemaSins videos, right?
Aren't you kind of fat? Are you really gonna be like shaming this guy's teeth?
How? What?
I'm saying, like, why are we shaming appearances right now? You're pretty fat. I mean, why? Oh God, look at his chompers. You mean that British guy, the guy from the UK, the place that's notorious for its bad teeth? I mean, you're just gonna slide that one in there, like, oh God, Brooksy, he's got bad teeth.
He acted like a child the entire way through.
No worries. No worries. I'm always happy to.
You seem like nicer to talk to in person. Like, I guess there's just like this bravado when you're like alone in your room recording with your parents and next door and
Was the
stuff. You have to
Band-Aids,
be
were the
quiet.
Band-Aids what was really really scary?
Yeah, and those shark teeth are like really intimidating. It's like they're all in, each one's in business for themselves.
He had a chance to straighten himself out alongside these other commentary personalities, but after this discussion was publicized, his presence was practically shunned on the face of the geek culture commentary scene. What with comments on many of his videos after that debate and beyond being very negative towards him as a person, or just simply mocking his attempts at insulting woke culture, since his own poor behavior is equally as embarrassing to witness as what he is criticizing. As of now, in the year 2025, this channel is basically dead, as the operator has not uploaded in years. The creator of this channel has entirely jumped ship. Honestly, he kind of can't upload anymore anyways, since the anti-SJW phase is over. What else can he do aside from make these slop videos? He cannot transition into any other niche like the Armored Skeptic could, since this one channel is committed so hard to this one single thing. So as a result, this channel is kind of just stuck. Honestly, if you sit down and think about it, him disappearing off the face of the internet was probably the best choice he could have made. Quietly exiting stage left and living off the residuals of your YouTube ad revenue for the rest of your life seems like a pretty good deal, so heck, why not let him? The beauty of YouTube is that everyone has an equal opportunity to become popular and develop a following if they make videos tackling the right subject at the right time. With a little bit of consistency and also a little bit of luck, anybody can become a somebody. But as this individual's very nasty attitude started rearing its head into his videos, it became clear as time passed that some people should not have the blessing of gaining a proper following. This guy is an example of a bad case in this niche, but not all of them are. A small few of them end really well, actually. A few of them end up being channels run by people who you can tell are decent folk, regardless of how much it seems like they're just another slob channel. Such as in the case of Clownfish TV. Clownfish TV is another geek culture news channel, ran by husband and wife duo of comic artists, Neon and Geeky Sparkles. Much like No BS, their content is quick surface level glances at various events and happenings in geek culture. Their thumbnails are clickbaity, AI generated art most of the time, and the titles of their videos are equally obnoxious. So, what exactly sets this channel apart from the other slop? Well, look, when you watch one of these slop videos with these very ugly thumbnails, 9 times out of 10 what you see is what you get. Yet another try-hardy video where some annoying college kid pretends that he's an informed source. But these guys are different beneath the cover, since they're actually trying to be decent people about it. It's just that they have to make their videos like this because, well, they don't have a choice. They have to. They're just playing by YouTube's rules. You have to appeal to the algorithm. But regardless of their content seeming to be more brain-dead slop on its surface, the hosts behind these videos do their absolute best to have nuanced takes on these situations that they discuss. They nearly never bash something simply for the sake of it, which is something that these quick news-type YouTube channels always do. A perfect example, and also a semi-recent example, is their coverage of the Disney movie Elio. You see, Clownfish TV is pretty much always trashing on Disney, and for good reason, obviously. There isn't a single time where these two aren't taking the time to expose Disney for performing underhanded corporate actions. They have attracted a large majority of Disney haters as a result of it. Then Elio came out, and they made about 5 videos gossiping about how garbage it most likely will be. But despite them dunking on it for over 3 videos, they still sat down and watched the movie. And what did they say about it?
But the question people are going to say is it good or not? And what's going to happen is people are going to get mad at me right now because the answer is yes, it is actually good.
You hate Disney.
I know.
You hate everything. You're
people
biased.
People are mad because I'm saying it, my job is to tell those people the truth from my perspective, and that's what I'm going to do. It was not a bad movie. It was a good movie. Did it feel like Pixar? Yes, it did, which I was surprised. I was fully expecting it to suck. Fully expecting it to be terrible. And it wasn't. And our daughter was fully expecting it to be terrible too. And she's like, that was good. And I'm like, yes.
See, this is what I'm talking about. They're not afraid to admit that the movie was actually good. Look. That may not seem like a big deal to you, but you need to understand that there is extreme amounts of pressure when you amass a fan base of people who you watch specifically because they hate something that you've talked trash about for ages. And guess what? Most of their following turned around on them, and while they didn't straight up chastise chastise or insult them, they were not happy with their results. But they didn't care. They said what they felt, and they were not afraid to speak their mind on it. This behavior that they display right here is exactly how they've always been acting, even throughout all the culture wars. If this were any other YouTube slop channel such as No BS, they would lie and tell you that it's irredeemable garbage with LGBT subtext that's super duper woke and all that nonsense, but Clownfish TV is not afraid to tell it like they feel it is, regardless if it goes against the fan base of people they grew off of the fact that they think everything Disney does and makes is junk. And even through the absolute most heated phases of the culture wars, they've always been like this. They did their best to provide nuanced takes without simple bandwagon writing, which, by the way, is something everyone should have already been doing to begin with, like the Armored Skeptic tried his best to. Whereas the Armored Skeptic attempted to be a neutral party across the culture wars, Clownfish TV did not attempt to be neutral at all. They just said whatever the hell they felt. And that's how they ended up getting one step ahead. There's little things you have to keep in mind when you make a channel like this. Their upload rate is at a breakneck pace. They upload 3 to 4 videos a week. They are constantly absorbing this potentially negative information, so their ability to remain as a mostly unbiased voice that isn't afraid to admit fault or say something actually is good is a genuine accomplishment. As of now, in the year 2025, they're still doing what they always did, but with more of their own personal desires being the focus, as opposed to the typical complaining about progressivism slop. Not to say that they do not occasionally use titles and thumbnails to allude to that old phase, they still occasionally do, but regardless, they transitioned effortlessly out of that old, tiring phase, and hardly lost anything in the process of it. I'm not trying to act like the people behind this channel are angels, nor am I trying to be biased or a fanboy either. These guys have made videos stating opinions that I heavily disagree with plenty of times. And furthermore, I'm not even subscribed to these guys because I don't like having my sub box flooded with videos of their weird thumbnails, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm just saying that despite them going through the trenches of anti-SJW cultures for years and years, they never let it dictate their future. That's the thing that I'm the most impressed and amazed by. You see, that's what the Armored Skeptic and Clownfish TV have in common that No BS just doesn't. No BS over here is a YouTube channel that lived and died entirely based off these sad little internet squabbles. Without the culture wars carrying this guy, this channel has no other subject matters or interests to transition into. But with Clownfish TV, it's a strikingly different scenario. These guys didn't need culture wars at all. As soon as it went away, they just kept doing what they liked doing. Geek culture news. I think all of these folks put together make for a really good understanding of the case of anti-woke slop in 2025, and more to the point of what I wanted to think about, how these online figures have changed and reacted to the SJW phase of the internet ending. Most folk kinda just move on with their lives in the way of finding a new general subject matter to cover with their channel or just going to talk about whatever they want. Some people quietly exit stage left and abandon their YouTube career, which, by the way, I am not saying as a negative thing. There is no shame in leaving YouTube. This website can be a total train wreck 90% of the time. And some make a futile effort to stick to their guns, perpetuating a false online campaign for what only looks like validation seeking. So, what about me? Because I still don't know what direction I'm taking. Okay, this is the part where I discuss myself. This is a combination of a channel update and a commentary on my own story. If you don't give a shit about me, then you're welcome to stop watching right here. It's cool, I don't care about audience retention or any of that bullcrap. Like I said at the start of this video, boys, I'm sorry. I did not make this video for you. I made it for me. I've been trying to find out what to do with myself on YouTube by grounds of this single channel, and I genuinely do not know where to go from here. And it's legit been years since I walked away from all of this woke criticism nonsense. I guess I'll provide you guys with some kind of pseudo elaboration on how I rose up myself. Okay, way back in 2020, I started a YouTube channel trying to make little gaming essays. I sucked at them, and they were some of my first videos ever, and they were recorded on this really crappy Yeti mic on really bad audio conditions. Yeah, it was just bad. Not a soul was watching any of these videos, and I was bouncing from crappy restaurant job to crappy restaurant job to keep a roof over my head in this terrible room for rent that I crashed in via Craigslist. By the way, do not ever find a place to live in via Craigslist. You will thank me later. Okay, look, my life was an absolute friggin' wreck, okay? Due to my poor childhood of me being abused by my mother, and then afterwards having a young adult life consisting of me being abused by my peers and e-friends that I thought that I trusted. I am not going to sugarcoat it for you. Pretty much everything in my life was a fucking wreck until I became a YouTuber. That is not a joke or me being hyperbolic or me exaggerating. I cannot tell. I honestly, I wish I was exaggerating. So yeah, I'm making these bad videos, and I'm jumping from boring, bad, terrible, low-paying job to terrible job. Around 2021, I'm noticing everyone is dunking on a certain cartoon that was recently released at the time called High Guardian Spice. Now, I look at that, and I see there's a massive storm of buzz and ridicule around this, and then think, hey, maybe I can develop a following dunking on this stuff, yeah. I was extremely scared of dipping my toes into discussing this. I cannot stress to you how terrified I was. The reason being is because I felt like I had no integrity by just jumping along a hate bandwagon. But I told you my life conditions. I told you about how I just wanted to, like, stop myself from living in perpetual misery. I freaked out and said, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway. I'm doing it, I don't care. I want to turn YouTube into my job regardless of that. So I did my best to jump on this hate train. But I didn't just say what everyone else was saying. I wanted to do my best to keep my integrity intact to some degree, you know what I mean? So what I did was that I jumped on that hate train, but at the same time, I also provided my own personal take, where I try everything in my power to make sure I added my own unique flavoring on this very dead horse, you know what I mean? So I did that. And things worked out. Little did I know at the time right there, that is basically the ultimate method of becoming a successful YouTuber. Making a video about an already popular subject and then adding your own unique flavor to it. Steal other ideas that have already been done to death and add your own spin to it. I developed a legit following from Thrashing That TV show to thrashing comics like I Am Not Starfire and more. So what happened? Well, what happened was simple. Two things. The first, less important thing, is that the anti-SJW phase was already at its tail end by time I stepped up to the plate. High Guardian Spice was one of the last weird, desperately trying to be progressive pieces of media there is, right next to Velma. So by time I finally sat down to create the Inclusivity Bias series, which is me providing well thought out takes on various things that have happened in between these weird woke, anti-woke events happening in media, it was way too late, and people just weren't watching and weren't interested anymore. It was honestly really weird how people just automatically stopped caring as soon as it was like 2024. And the other, way more important problem that dragged me down as a YouTuber is that I was all over the place. I was unfocused. I was trying to do everything. During this period of time, I was making videos where I was reviewing comics, I was reviewing manga and animated series, and then I randomly realized how weird Webtoon was. I was all over the place. I was trying to do everything. As a result, I was a completely unfocused YouTube channel, and I completely screwed myself in the process. YouTube's algorithm just did not know what to do with me because I had so many of these different random-ass videos. Unfortunately, YouTube is just not designed for you to be a variety-type video creator. The only way you can get away with that is if you are already on the top of the food chain. That's it. That is the only exception for you being able to get away with that. With the High Guardian Spice review series, I learned that in order to make a successful following, the objective is to remix a popular idea on YouTube. But what I did not learn quickly enough is that in order to maintain that following, you have to provide the exact same niche of content at all times with every upload. You have to create a catalog of content that viewers will watch all of your content, all of the videos on your channel. But when you make variety content, when your channel consists of a catalog of random assorted content that is all about variety, like all types of random stuff like webtoon reviews and manhwa reviews and random anime and all this crap, viewers who stumble into your channel are only going to be guaranteed to click on one or two of your videos under those circumstances. I totally screwed myself over, courtesy of my ignorance. Now that the culture war phase of the internet is long behind us, and I've spread myself into so many different directions in attempts to do this fantastical nonsense of trying to do everything that I wanted, honestly, my YouTube channel kind of just feels like a wasteland of naive mistakes. What I should have done in hindsight was create multiple separate channels to capitalize on the various things I wanted to discuss sooner. Yeah, I should have made a slop news channel Clownfish TV style so I could focus on anti-SJW content on that, and then do my major review series on the main channel. Then after that I could just do whatever I want on the Jack's Junk channel. And by then I'm pretty sure I could inevitably stumble into the webtoon scene, and then I could keep that content on the main channel, regardless of how many weirdos try to copyright strike me. Oh well, though. There's no way I could have known any of these things since I had no experience with YouTube at the time. What can you do, I suppose? As of now, in the year 2025, I'm still, to this very solitary day, trying to push my channel in a different direction. As of right now, I've been reviewing Korean comics, thinking I'll grow a following off of that. And guess what? That's also a failure. It is a complete failure. This channel is doomed. And it's nobody's fault but mine. For the longest amount of time, I've been blaming everything around me. I've been blaming the algorithm. I've been blaming the fact that I did not step into the YouTube scene early enough and I was too little too late. I've been blaming the people who false copyright strike my channels. And, well, while all of these things are definitely something to consider, it's definitely a factor that has affected me, those are not the root cause. And after taking a long, hard look at myself recently, no. It's my fault. It's only mine. Courtesy of my stupidity, this channel is pushed into way too many different directions over the years. And even if YouTube staff themselves sat down and told me what direction I need to take in order to salvage it, honestly, I probably wouldn't even take it. Because I just have no drive or interest in any of this shit anymore. All the shit that you've been seeing me... Guys, I'm gonna be straight the fuck up with you. All of those manhwa reviews that you saw me talk about, 90% of those goddamn videos were phoned in. I did not actually give a fuck about anything I was talking about. You guys don't want videos like that. And neither the fuck do I. Alright? Like, just straight up, bro. So, fuck this. I'm not quitting YouTube yet. No, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna quit YouTube at all. Relax. But I think I'm gonna just say fuck it. After sitting down and taking a look at what all these other YouTubers had done after they had walked away from this weird culture war phase that most of them had inadvertently stumbled into. I think I'm just gonna do what I want, rather than just cling on to the trend or pretend that there's still something to talk about in this phase or straight up abandon the channel altogether. So I think I'm just gonna do anime and manga type shit now, with the occasional video game based videos squeezed in here or there. Yeah, I know it's not very unique, but it's what I wanted to do. Okay, it's what I want to do. The deal is that I already know for a fact that this will kill my channel. This is going to kill my channel. There is literally no, like I'm telling you, there is no way it won't. And if you do not understand how this will guaranteed kill my channel, let me explain. Okay, when you upload a video and you publicize it to your current audience, your current subscriber base is shown that video. If your already established subscriber base do not watch this video, then YouTube will not show it to basically anyone. And I already know that my current subscriber base does not give a shit about gaming or anime type weeb stuff at all, so yeah. It's like 99% likely to kill this channel. And honestly, it's fine. I'd rather be happy doing what I want to than sitting around chasing the algorithm for the 50,000th time on this channel. So, yeah. I guess that's all I've got to say. Sorry for... Honestly, I genuinely feel like I fucking embarrassed myself in regards to this channel. Just doing all of this random shit. 65% of it I don't give a fuck about. I don't actually care about, bro. There are so many things that I genuinely am proud of myself on in this, like the Inclusivity Bias series. I am genuinely proud of myself for creating that series. But for every, like, 1 or 2 things that I'm genuinely proud of myself for doing on this channel, there's like 50 other things that I just look back at and cringe, you know? It's like looking back at a freaking yearbook photo sometimes. I think I'm just going to try my best to be real with you guys without being a dick. But yeah, impromptu channel update, I guess. I guess that's what this is. I guess that's all I've got to say. This is Blacklight Jack signing out. You guys have a good one. Thanks for watching, if you've gotten this far. I appreciate you sitting here listening to my stupid ass ramble about fuck all. Thanks for watching. I mean it.